Let me explain why God is against this, okay? Now, I wouldn't expect people that set up America to be like the Roman Empire, the Roman Republic, to get it, okay? Because I think that, yes, God inspires, but again, it's about biblical maturity, okay? Now, in the show The Chosen, this would be typical, okay? Because, they were all there, bowing down to the Pope and all, many of them from the show The Chosen. They do this long thing before, Jesus saying, give to Caesar's what is Caesar's, about Jesus says you want roads and all of this. That's all added, okay? Look, it's very simple. Man has believed that they know what God's kingdom should look like. The one thing no country, no society has ever done is totally surrendered to God. I know it's foreign, it's totally foreign, and you think, we can't just do that and stand by. No, that's what God wants you to do. If you want to be back under his kingdom, I don't think most of these people want to be. So they trick themselves, whether it's Republicans or Democrats, and they tell themselves, no, that we're doing the best by God. No, none of you, no society, none, especially none after Jesus, ever have just completely surrendered. So I've wondered, is what Trump is a stopgap to push the people to biblical maturity. I wonder. I'm just, because otherwise you will never get man to surrender, because they think that them and God need to collaborate. Yeah, so, and they do, okay? But clearly you could see there's no biblical maturity. Who is pushed? Charlie Kirk, okay, Nick Flynn, all of these people that want to take us so backwards, it's pathetic. Okay? I'm not trying to tell people, oh, don't give anything to the government. I'm saying that if you truly want God's kingdom, you have to surrender to him. You can't, it's this idea that the Roman Republic, and that's what our founders, and I'm not saying they weren't inspired. At that time, that's where God wanted them to be. But God is moving it forward. He is. Because no matter who you get in these seats, they're going to be corrupt. They just are. Will some of them be? What gets done? It's like it doesn't serve anybody. And the problem with the money system that God never, the only type bartering he had, or, money type system going on was to, back in the Old Testament, was to the church, okay, a tithe. And you can make the excuse, well, God would want you to give for roads and all that. Okay, but we've gone way beyond the point of craziness, okay? To where when people themselves can't survive and the government's getting, then there's a problem, right? Okay, so but the point I'm trying to make, the only thing I ever try to make, my point, is that God wants you to surrender. He's tired of all of these experts, whether they are religious experts, whatever they are, okay? Thinking that they know what's best. Because again, most times, unless you truly seek God's wisdom, you may think in your head it seems like the best idea. No, it's not. Because what money has done, coins, is it has led to people worrying so much that it takes, because it's a divided loyalty. When Jesus came, he brought the spirit of him back to people, okay? And then, of course, the first thing that happened is Constantine played like he was, turning the empire Christian. No, he just wanted control over it. I was glad to hear so many people do agree with that, okay? Because the Roman Empire was falling. It was a way for them to keep power. Okay, I mean, even people that are Catholics know the church is all corrupt, okay? That it's not legit, but they still go to it. It's just strange because they don't know anything else. But what I'm trying to say is that's why God didn't want any of that system. The building structure creates a hierarchy. Am I saying he didn't want any buildings? No, he wanted you to start from scratch, though. And scratch meant total surrender. So I wonder if Trump, and I'm just guessing, is a stopgap. A stopgap where nothing, like, yeah, going through the motions of everything, let's worry about the midterms, but does it ever matter, though? They want to get you to think it does. But here's something you need to understand. Caesar, Sadducees, Pharisees. Sadducees, Pharisees. It's true. They didn't go by those, but those were the factions they were. In the Roman Republic, it was under this type system: popularists and optimates. Okay, which was, it's all just, one serves more of the people kind of side, but the other is just elitism. That was the Roman Republic. So see, God, none of this does man, I'm not trying to say this is all wickedness. It's just that man, because they don't surrender to God, and this was all before, Jesus anyway, but still, this was at a time all of the planets is what they worshipped, okay? And then Caesar, Julius, he was assassinated because he put his face on the coin. See, then you're dealing with idolatry. No matter how much they spin it, the devil, of course, would spin it. It's idolatry. And in the show The Chosen, the guy playing Jesus is like, who cares that Caesar's face is on it? Oh, no, those are all people that don't know God. But then that show got off the ground, and I'm not saying it's all bad, but it serves the empire. Of course it would, especially in that place. You better give your money. But Jesus wanted his kingdom. He knew what Rome was about. If it was, that's why he said, if this was my kingdom, my people would be standing up for me. And the reason he said give to Caesar's what is Caesar's is he's meant people have a choice. But what happens with money? You become so worried and obsessed with it, it takes away from time with God, knowing God. That's the last thing he wanted. Yet man of this world, of this country even, will tell you, no, this is what God wanted. No, none of it. Again, I don't want to say the founders were inspired to a certain extent. It, of course, went off the rails. God knew that it was not going to be something that he was going to stick with. It's still not his kingdom. But he moves the people along little by little, needing to take down, build up, take down, okay? That's what he does. And I know everybody, the Constitution, it's this glorified thing. No, there's problems with it. I'm not saying that the men had problems. But most of the founders, and God bless them, okay? They're not wicked people, but they didn't believe that God intervenes and does miracles. Like, that's how grounded they were in just that they know best, okay? So did God help them write the Constitution? He did. The Declaration of Independence is absolutely inspired, okay? Is it history and it should be in the Bible? In my opinion, of course it should. It's history. It was all trying to base it around God. The problem is that man still thinks they know best. So the only way God can ever get it to where he wants it is he's going to have to humble a lot of people. So I look at Trump as maybe he's a stopgap, and God's going to, not that he can force people to surrender to him, but put a stopgap in there and just go through the motions of everything and, pay some bills, all of this, and protect the country. But really what the military should be for is so nobody tries to come in and overtake anything. Because the problem is that people would say, well, if we just surrender to God, then somebody will come in and set up another system. Yeah, no, you have the military to prevent that. So you put a stopgap in. Trump, like a stopgap. So that the people realize we need to move beyond. We need biblical mature. God is always going to make sure he has his kingdom. How is he going to do it? Do you realize that if Jesus came back today, if he was here right now, they would do the same thing? The right and the left would do the exact same thing. Because you know what the Pharisees and Sadducees did? They came together because they wanted Jesus silenced, because it affected their factions, their ideas. Do you think that would be any different today? No. So what does God have to do? Put a stopgap in. And so people start realizing what God truly wants for Eden, the Eden kingdom, is we need total surrender. and God's plan fully.